Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode, number 35.
SRMC.
SRMC. Oh, I Googled that, by the way. Because I was like, oh, what is the, what is it called? What is like the SEO of just the acronym SRMC? And I think I got something porn related. Yeah, it was like, she ruined my cock, or she wrote on my cock.
She railed my cock.
Or something like that.
She ruined my cock.
Oh, it's like a ball stomping, or a dick stomping video.
I don't know what it was, but I was like, I didn't look into it further, and I'm like, oh man, this is like crazy that acronym like exists out there for something else. I was like, oh, what the hell could this be? It's a random string of letters. We already recorded this episode. So this is like a re-recording of it.
Yeah.
If that makes any kind of sense.
Well, we forgot to hit the record button. So
we didn't really record it.
Oh, true.
we just thought we did.
It was a podcast for God, for God's eyes only.
Oh my God. Yeah.
But he loved it.
He loved it. He did.
We're getting into heaven.
We're going to talk about the recent Cold Ones video about vintage cooking gadgets that I was in. And then we're going to talk about...
Specifically also the comments.
Specifically the comments about that.
Yeah.
We should emphasize the negative reaction to me in that video.
The overwhelmingly negative reaction to seeing Ian's mullet.
And then next, we're going to talk about...
the overly negative reaction...
to Anisa.
Yeah.
Raging.
Yeah.
Yes.
Freaking out.
Triggered.
And then we're going to talk about Dane and his latest recipes.
What?
Yes. He's got some
got
good
a
recipes.
lot of good recipes, and you guys are really going to get a lot of value out of them.
Can you give us like a sneak peek?
So, chicken ramen.
Oh. All right.
And you just crush it up.
Scarily accurate so far.
You don't even cook it. You just crush it up, and you just waterfall it into your mouth.
Went to Australia, recorded a Cold Ones video. The last time I went there before this recent time, where I recorded a video, I think it was during COVID time, like right as COVID started. Dane earlier said that I was patient 0. I wasn't patient 0. I was patient 1. The guy next to me on the plane was patient 0. And we got a couple videos out of it. I think Max wasn't able to do his video, which was a giant pizza making video. But overall, good trip.
You did the roadkill video.
I did a roadkill video.
William Osmond and...
yeah. Oh, I did a thing and How to Basic.
Weren't you guys all sick in those hazmat suits, like cooking up?
No, I think at that time, when I was recording it, in the hazmat suit, like I was the only one who was sick. I was the start of it because I definitely got on the plane and I was cooking. Yeah, in a bad way.
I always thought that you got it from the roadkill.
No, I think I tried to paint it that way because it made more sense.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised the FBI or someone didn't like knock on your door.
Yeah.
Like wondering if you really truly were patient 0, because you got really sick before COVID.
That was the worst sickness I've ever gotten.
Yeah, and you were fucking around with roadkill, and I'm surprised.
Yeah, true.
Because like I feel like that's how you like maybe you were patient 0.
No.
And this is a lesson you had learned before, by the way, because didn't you fuck around with a dead bird and get sick?
Me?
Yeah.
No, I think Max did.
Oh.
Yeah,
you
Max
didn't get sick from that? I thought everybody got sick from that in the house.
Max did a video, I think, where he had like a dead magpie or something on his like pillow or something, and he got, I think, super sick from that.
God. Dane, Ian got sick from drinking rainwater that he collected off of his disgusting roof.
Yeah, that's
well. Anyway, this is all good to bring up because this is the type of shit that people expected you to do in the new Max and Chad cooking video. They expected you to eat dead birds, to I don't know, fuck a dead horse or something, do something shocking. But all you did was just make a pizza and laugh at Max and Chad, and you spat an egg, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Spat an egg and that's it.
But I don't know. This was, I think, a little bit of a wake-up call for me because I think I have, you know, over the past year, maybe couple of years, I don't feel like I've kind of been ignoring a lot of feedback, I think, from the audience.
Well, it's been hard because you have, in some regards, been gaslit pretty heavily.
Right.
Like,
well, that's what I'm getting at. Is in general, it's very difficult to separate constructive criticism from hate sometimes, because like we're really fucking good as people of like constructing like a statement online, especially with all the restrictions that these platforms have. Constructing a really like punchy, mean thing to say that sounds just like criticism or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've talked about it before, but it's like my new favorite thing. Like, I'll never get back the last 15 seconds or whatever that I just, and it's like, sounds pretty innocuous, but forever for whoever put up a video that receives a comment like that, they're like, oh, like,
yeah,
was that offensive?
It kind of reminds me of like the who asked of the YouTube world.
Totally.
It's, I think what makes
when I was younger, it was good for you.
Yeah, good for you is another one. I think what made me especially sad about the Max and Chad thing is that like not only like a month after basically the video that you recently recorded and put out, when I watched it, when you were done editing it, I was like, oh, holy shit, like he's figured it out. Because I couldn't say anything to you about the energy change that you had decided to kind of like, I don't even think it was subconscious, I think. But the last like couple of years, I would even say, your energy has shifted in your videos and people would say it. And I think like I have talked to you about it before, but you were very much, and it's good that you're this way. You're very stubborn. You're not going to let somebody tell you like when you're doing something wrong. You're going to like ride it out until you come to a conclusion on your own. You had come to that conclusion, I'm pretty sure, the last video that you put out. So when I watched it, I was like, oh, holy shit, he's figured it out. I was able to like bring it up to you like, okay, now go look at the Cheez-It video and like tell me.
Cheez-It video is such a great example of that.
If you can see the difference between this one and the Cheez-It video, and you watched it, and for the first time you were like, oh yeah, there it is.
It's so fucking weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird because it isn't in, like, it wasn't in my face at all. Like, I can see it now. I can see the difference. And it's really kind of sad because it's an energy and it's a vibe.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, if I think that's what a lot of people have been picking up on is like, oh, the vibes are off.
Yeah.
And, you know, it feels bad because I think I've been, for my own mental health, like ignoring that.
Yes.
Because I'm like, well, fuck guys, like, I don't want to like, I think it's important to, you know, care about the content that I'm making and care about the impact that it has. And I made that choice and it kind of hurt to realize like, oh shit, like now everything's different or whatever.
I think also like, so people want to point to you like being careful about like what you're putting out online. But I know this sounds crazy, but I don't actually think that that's what was cooking in your brain from my perspective, like watching it from the outside. I think what happened was you felt like the audience was like with you 100%, like they got it. And then I think I think this actually started during the OnlyFans thing where you all of a sudden like saw that your audience was projecting a lot of things onto you, that you like had all these thoughts and feelings that you don't have. And I think it scared you of like, holy shit, these people don't know me at all.
Right.
And I think that you started to wrestle with the idea.
Hesitation.
Well, you were like, well, I want to show people more who I am. And so you started doing kind of like more Ian content than iDubbbz content on your YouTube channel, whether it was subconscious or not. I'm not sure, but I think you started to like go, okay, well,
this is a good point because that was my intention when I went to Australia this time around, is I said, like, I want to come across as authentic.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like a crazy, exaggerated person because it doesn't feel right for whatever reason. Maybe it's because I was doing that for so long and that wasn't who I was. And like, you know, the audience is having a hard time following like what is I guess the video and what is me in real life.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I think I'll experiment with me being a little bit more like toned down, how I would be in real life. That video I recorded with Max and Chad, that is much closer to how I behave in real life. And I feel really bad that I didn't, I mean, it's a good experiment. I'm glad I did it, but I really wish that I had known that that energy is, I think, kind of needed for something like a Cold Ones video.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit more, like, if you're not going to be outwardly, like, loud and active, like, you got to make up for it a little bit with some crazy behavior, like shaving your eyebrows and your head.
Yeah, I think
You know?
also, though, like, there's something to be said about you hadn't done that type of content. You were out of practice because you weren't even doing it on your own channel
Yeah.
for like years almost at this point. That like walking into like Max and Chad, who they have always done it and are very much in their element and practiced.
Yeah.
For you to like step in there after like you're probably very rusty as well. Like I don't even think it would have went over well anyways.
Yeah.
Because you're very, I'm sure.
Well, that was one of my main concerns is I was like, I don't want to come back and just do the same shit that I've been doing, because that feels so Uncle Rico and so like lame.
But that's the thing, is that people want that. They want you to relive their childhood.
Yeah.
When they see that pairing, that, you know, that group together, they're like, oh, just like old times. So like they expect to see the same shit again.
Yeah, because I was even apprehensive about doing like a legit food review where I'm goofing around in the woods.
I know.
I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I'm fucking 34.
Yeah. Man,
which
I had to pull teeth to get
me
Ian to do that. Like, that was like, that was, and I'm glad that we did, because I think you had a lot of fun when you were doing it. I think there's like this weird, you really want to stay true to like your beliefs and who you are, and you've always been that way. And I think that like comments were coming in and saying these things, and you felt like you don't know what's right for my channel. You don't know what's right for me. And that's just you, period. Like, if I tell you to do something, you're going to be like, you don't know what's good for me. I'm going to do the opposite thing. And I think that that is what has happened between you and, like, your viewers. It's like your viewers are like, well, just stop doing this. And then it's almost like you're like, I'm going to do more of this. To the point where, like, even editing, like, there was a period where you were like, I don't want to do big flashy edits or, like, quick edits. I think because you were like almost like mad that people were saying that the podcast you were slow, like something had happened to you. So I think like in your brain you were like, well, if I just make my YouTube videos slower, people will just know that that's me.
Well, it's what it is. I think in general is it's just me being flippant, like a bit like instead of like accepting the fact like, oh, it is true. Like, I'd maybe hear a comment like, bro looks fucking lobotomized in his most recent video. He's talking so slow and this and that. Or like on the podcast. And I'm like, I would be flippant. I would be like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. I literally, like, all of these videos you've been watching, like bad unboxings and things, like, I cut that shit up to a disgusting degree. And it makes me appear very quick, and it makes things like it just makes the whole thing a lot more like captivating, like you can't look away. And so when something is like a bit more calm, I'm like, no, but that was like, I intentionally did that. And so instead of being like, fair point, it does come across that way, I'll take that into consideration for, you know, the audience's sake. I became, I think, a little bit belligerent.
Stubborn.
Not belligerent.
Flippant. I like flippant.
Flippant.
Flippant is
reminds
good.
me of Flipper.
So what do you think of the criticism that Charlie had of like, he took back everybody to show how the sausage was made and no one wants to see how the sausage was made? Like, because that's like really...
That's interesting.
I think that is kind of what's happening, is there's like a lot of viewers that are like, the illusion of iDubbbz is gone. You've like taken that. And I just want to know how you feel about that, or like what you, like where you want to take the channel. Because I think there's a lot of people who are either like, they've already kind of been like, oh, okay, he's totally different, whatever. Or they're like waiting for you to like, I think there's a lot of people who are waiting for you to figure it out. Yeah. Which I think, honestly, after the Max and Chad video and you saw all the comments, I do think that like something clicked in your brain where you were like, yeah, okay, like I can and I should be a little bit more aware of like what the audience wants, and that you're an entertainer.
Oh, the word is defiant.
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 Yeah.
I think I have a defiant streak.
Definitely.
Yeah. I really don't like it's one of the reasons that I did not want to work a normal job.
Yeah.
I fucking hated being told what to do. Yeah. Even if it's like, you know, what's expected.
Yeah.
I'm the boss.
That is your most American trait.
Yeah. True.
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
True. So yeah, very defiant, and yeah, I think I saw that on
Man, I think I'm realizing something.
Huh.
I think since the OnlyFans thing, you have been
defiant.
being defiant with your audience.
Yeah, probably.
And I get it. It's frustrating. Yeah. Like you want to like get them to stop being...
Yeah. Well, especially when it's like an amorphous blob of people with all different opinions.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're kind of trying to figure out like, what is majority rule here?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I also have a bit of a theorem if you'd like to hear it.
I would love to.
I just came up with this, so it could be completely wrong. Feel free to tell me I'm an idiot. But around the time that you started like kind of changing the way that you appear in your own videos, like that was kind of after we had made those two documentaries about Airsoft Fatty and Dax Flame. And the point of those videos was to say these are two characters who are authentically themselves. They're authentically like strange. Like what's the word for that? Like they're eccentric. They're eccentric. They're eccentric characters, and it's all real. And especially with the Dax Flame one, it's like even someone who appears to be putting it on, like they're still completely just doing it because that's who they are. Yeah. And I think that maybe you might have been like inspired by those experiences and thought like, oh, like people can be authentically themselves and garner an audience and be respected for it. And I haven't been doing that. I've been putting on a bit of a character this whole time. And so maybe you felt like, whether you realized it or not, or maybe you did realize that, you can confirm or deny that you felt like maybe I should take my my channel in those kinds of directions.
Yeah, I think that's true. You know, it's definitely part of it. There's so many things that have contributed to it. Yeah. That it's really hard to, I would say absolutely that's a percentage. Yeah. Of the whole picture for sure.
I think you're just trying to pursue what you value.
Yeah, and I do want to live a good, real life. I don't want to be fake, or I don't want to be scared of things. Yeah. I think what scared me sometimes was like a good example is me recording like one of these legit food reviews, like the one I did in August or whenever that was. I went into that with a very general concept of like, oh, we can get some ice cream in the woods. There's like a weird kind of connection with like, I don't know, eating an animal, discarded animal body part in the woods. It's like very weird and doesn't make much sense. And going into that video concept, I'm very scared because I'm like, I don't know if any of this is going to be entertaining, because I just kind of have to do it and improv and just go through the whole thing. And I'll only know if I have a usable video once I'm done editing it.
Which is so crazy. Every time we talk about this, we've talked about this so many times. I find this so crazy because you're funny as shit always. Like the videos that are like rewatched over and over and over again are your improv shit. Your improv shit where you don't have much like thought in like the plan is your funniest shit. Objectively numbers.
Well, I mean, I get that. Well, what I'm painting is that like that is there are videos that I can make where I'm like, oh, like ahead of time, like I feel good about making this the whole way through. I feel confident making it the whole way through because I feel like the concept from the get-go is good and engaging, and I can rely on that. I can lean on that the whole time. Where there's a lot of concepts where I'm like, I don't know if I could, I can't lean on this at all. And it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably there's like a lot of things contributing to like why because I was talking to you about this at like a diner. It felt like there was like a little inhibitor in your brain somewhere that was like you were able to like make videos and able to make jokes, but it felt like you were like half committing to it. And I had no way of like bringing it up to you in a way that would be helpful. I just had to like let you work through it. And then when you worked through it, I could like have the conversation. And I really do feel like you're at that place right now. I think that you worked through it. And I think that like now we can have this conversation because I do think that you're like locked in.
Yes.
And it makes me sad that that unfortunately the Max and Chad thing happened like before you figured that out. Fully.
But I don't know. I personally think that it's all worth it because I am learning things. And like I think ultimately like this may end up being the moment in time where I'm like, oh yeah, that was when I had, I guess, figured it out. I think a very important part of that as well is me specifically figuring out this element of like, I need to not be afraid of saying the wrong thing when the pursuit is entertainment. You can be careful, sure, and I can be responsible with what I end up putting out there. Like, obviously, the difference between live and not is an important one, I think.
Huge. It is the pendulum thing, right? That like everybody talks about. You like swung, you were one way, and then you like swung really hard back, obviously, right? People are picking up on that. And you're now realizing like, okay, I'm swinging way too hard. Yeah. And now you're going to like adjust. It's just like even the apology video, right? Like that was like I would say the peak of the swinging pendulum where your whole goal of the apology video was like no excuses, no like semantics or like anything. Like I'm just going to flatly say that like there were some things that I didn't agree with in my videos and that's it. And I think like it was very well received by the people that you were apologizing to, but there were a lot of people that saw it, and because there weren't any caveats, because you weren't like diving into the nitty gritty of like, yeah, there's a lot of things that I stand by in my videos still, you know, but there are unfortunately things woven in that make it ugly. People took that as you saying like, if you enjoyed that content, you are a bad person. Me making that content made me a bad person, right? Like you fell fully on your sword because you felt guilt about especially specific creators, right? Like Jinx, Tana, like I know that you felt that. So like I think everybody saw you like fully fall on your sword, and there were like a lot of people that I think instead of like empathizing with you and being like, holy shit, I understand why you are like reacting this way and like trying to like make amends, there were a lot of people that were like, he said that everything that he's ever done is wrong and I'm a bad person, right? And that's kind of like where it and
do you want have you ever clarified or like whatever on your stance on that? Because I feel like that's what people get wrong quite often is that I mean, you said, oh, you're a monster for enjoying the content that I personally don't agree with now.
I'm not sure that I have clarified it, I can use this opportunity to, I guess it doesn't really hurt to say it as much as possible. I always feel like these things should be like loaded up for like a big video or something so that it's not missed. But yeah, I think for those people who enjoyed my content cops, and I mean, that's primarily like the most, like, I guess, regretful stuff that I've made. I made those videos for a reason, and that's because I had a passion for whatever the particular topic was, and it was bothering me. And a lot of these things that I made videos on, they still bother me to this day. I think Jinx having freebooted content and reacted to other people's content, that felt bad. I didn't like seeing that. And, you know, Keemstar, obviously, for like blackmailing people and having like really weird behavior.
Yeah, I think the problem is that like these are all different levels of offenses, and it's sad because it affected, I would say, the people who were like the least guilty of bad things the most. Right? Like, who's off the internet?
Right, Jinx.
Jinx. And Jinx was doing like reactionary content, and like, yes, like that sucks. Like, we don't like reactionary content. Most people think that it's like not the best thing to be uploading.
Yeah, it's
but,
not
like,
super ethical.
Yeah, it's not super ethical, but in like the realm of like things that
Offenses,
should be chastised.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, it's not really like you know, Jack's Films approach at critiquing that is probably like a more
that is a way more appropriate response to what Jinx was doing at the time.
Yeah,
like a satirical video pointing out how this is like a very like cheap way and potentially hurtful way to be making content.
It was also like super targeted towards Jinx when there was like a bunch of, it was like very meta.
There was a lot of people doing it.
So like, it's just, you know, there were things about it. Like, that's kind of the thing, is like, there were things in it that made it more of a problem, like made you more feel bad about it later on when you, it's like hindsight 2020.
A lot of the content that I made content cops on, I stand by the reasonings behind it, but not the way I went about doing it.
When we recorded this the first time, you used the word essence, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, the essence. The essence of those videos, I think, I still fully endorse because that shit pissed me off, like, big time. Like, I did not like Keemstar essentially doing, like, a don't get on my bad side type of thing. And it's like, fuck you. Like, I'll get on your bad side. I don't care.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a lot of other examples. I think there were some tech review channels that would just do like, they would just destroy tech and like drop it off of high places. And to be honest, like, yeah, the thread there was like, I'm not a big fan of these. I don't watch them. I think it's absurd that people are making videos like these and watching them. But that was like the extent of it. Like, you know, I clearly don't need to.
The one I want to like ask about that you haven't like talked about at all is the Tana one. How do you feel about that one? Because that one was like
Oh, I mean, that one's perfect, right? Like, that's like the perfect example of like regret and not.
Yeah.
Like, definitely regret like targeting Tana specifically.
Yeah.
Because this isn't like a Tana problem.
Yeah.
I didn't like I think I had like a bit of a maybe a chip on my shoulder or something. I don't think I was a big fan of like that genre of like story time, and it was someone's, you know, yapping to a camera for 10 minutes and exaggerating things. Like, that bothered me.
Yeah.
And valid. I think it still bothers me to this day, depending on how bad the yapping is.
Right. I think, though, what you're glazing over... And
I was going to get to the N-word.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I'm not glazing over it.
Okay.
But I think the real passion behind that one was this element of like, I feel like if my intentions aren't bad, I should be able to say essentially whatever I want. And, you know, as long as I'm not hurting people. And like, that's like, there's a lot of caveats, even me just saying that, right? It's like, you don't know who you're hurting at any point in time when you're making content online you're bound to hurt people. And I think that one was just so like out of my league and like out of my, I guess, place. Like that's not my place to comment on using the N-word. And I think what really bothered me is I was acting like I was some kind of authority on it. And like, this is the way that it is. And the video did well, I think, generally because I had like a bad guy in that scenario where it was like, oh, they're using it and they look like a fool because they used it, and then they criticized me for using it. Meanwhile, my usage was like not innocuous, but less offensive, I guess. And I think that was my like, it was like a combination of a lot of things in that video that I think led to me regretting it and being like, oh, this is like too much. Like I went way too like
I think the most interesting thing about that video is it's either all okay or none of it's okay.
Yeah.
Because that can be taken and used both ways, interestingly
it's such
enough.
a blanket statement.
Yeah, like
on such a nuanced thing, you know?
Yeah, for such a nuanced thing, like, and it's interesting because for me, I agree that it's either all okay or none of it's okay, and I think none of it's okay. Like that's my personal stance. Like there'd be a lot of people who just like don't think using slurs is appropriate. And they'd be like, yeah, I agree. But what's interesting is there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, there's some slurs that are like more acceptable. Like you could get away with saying, and like, you're not going to lose your job. Right. So if those are okay, then why can't I say that? So you literally appeal to both. So no matter what, like hill you were trying to die on, you end up dying on both. Which is kind of weird in a way. Yeah. But it's interesting that it seemed like the people who wanted to just say the N-word took it as like gospel. Because you would see that everywhere.
Yeah. And I knew like it was one of these statements that was like, like I wanted something that sounded strong punchy. And like, punchy. And that's exactly what, I thought worked. It's funny, like the amount of people who I've talked to now that were like, oh yeah, when you said that, like, I did interpret it as like, yeah, none of it's okay.
That's how I was like, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Which is so interesting. Because like, that's the one, interestingly enough, that when I see people like talking about whether or not you should have removed content cops, that's the one that like people who think that you should have kept them up, like want up.
Interesting.
Because
I mean, it was a very...
the language thing.
Yeah.
So...
I think there are a lot of these, like, you shouldn't say that moments that do make us hurt inside, and they can happen at, all stages of life. And, but I think when you're particularly young and, like, you haven't experienced the full range of life, you can, I guess, like, misplace your passion a little bit. And I think that's one of those areas where they're like, oh, like, we should care about intention way more than we should care about just like the explicit word being stated. And I think that's what like people, really rallied behind because it feels correct to them. But, like we've discussed, it's not either all of it's okay or none of it's okay. It's actually just some weird amalgamation in the middle.
Yeah.
So the parallel, I think, to what you're saying about people feeling bad despite their intention not being bad, my question is, are the people, because I read a lot of the comments, well, not a lot, but I read a lot of the top comments on the most recent Max and Chad video with you in it, and it seemed like there were a lot of people who are still to this day feeling bad that you gave them in some sort of indication or idea that they should feel bad for enjoying the content that you are disavowing, even though their intention when watching it and enjoying it, they feel wasn't bad. They were just enjoying a funny YouTube video, and I think that maybe they felt that you were making them feel bad for it.
Yeah.
Do you think that was? Do you think that's justified? Because I personally, from talking to you about it, I don't think that you believe that. I don't think that you think that people are bad people for enjoying a YouTube video if their intentions are...
No, I think, to be honest, it's just like in my mind, it's just like really bad communication on my part, because I started like doing things that I would say are like out of character for me, like me just going on the Anthony Padilla podcast. There was a line in there that sounded like really harsh, and it was like, yeah, when the basement dwelling person like comes out and sees their favorite YouTuber, they say a slur or something.
Because you were specifically talking about the fans that had come up to you and said a slur to you in public. Yeah. That's who you're specifically talking about. So when you say I was attracting basement dwellers, it makes a blanket statement that everyone who watches your stuff is a blanket or is a basement dweller, rather than you are attracting a lot of people, but with some of the stuff that you were doing, especially because there was satire and other things, you were also beaconing out to the basement dweller who comes out of their room once every month, who would say a slur to someone and think it's funny. Yeah. That's what there was the disconnect.
Yeah, exactly.
I think. I don't know. I mean,
people thought, oh, he's talking about me.
Yeah.
When they've never done that to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the vast majority of people who watch and enjoy your content would never do that.
Yeah.
But they thought that you were talking about them and saying that you know that they fell under that blanket.
Yeah, and I really wasn't trying too hard to even correct that when it was coming out.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I'm just like, I already felt out of my element talking about a lot of the shit that I talked about on the Anthony Padilla podcast.
It was your first time ever publicly talking about any of it.
Yeah, in like an honest, like out of character way. Yeah. And so yeah, it was hard, and I was like, oh man, I don't feel like I'm at all ready to be making like or issuing corrections or anything like that if I've, fucked it up this bad already.
Yeah.
But then also with the apology, it's like, I wasn't necessarily looking out for the feelings of people who have been watching and enjoying my content cops and other content. I was like, I just need to focus my attention on the people that I've maybe hurt. So I can understand why that is like also kind of a compounding effect where it's like, wait, you think I'm a bad person for watching your content and enjoying it?
Yeah. You said I'm a basement dweller, and now you're saying I'm a bad person for enjoying your content.
Yeah. And for me, it's more like, and I really wish that I was able to communicate it more effectively. Like, I feel like I was lost or misguided with some of my delivery. Like the delivery systems on a lot of the things that I was talking about was the main problem. Like the essence of what I was saying in the Keemstar video, absolutely believe in that. Should I have said kill yourself? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's very unhinged and like maybe entertaining, but for me that's not how I want to, that's not the mark I really want to leave on the world.
Especially when we live in a world online where there are content creators that are taking their own lives, sadly, very frequently. And we have lost colleagues that way. I mean, that was before that, but it's like, those things are painful.
And it's real.
And it does popularize it. Like, I think something that a lot of people kind of miss when we're talking about this stuff is like, kill yourself, right? Like, that's something like kids are hearing, repeating. Yeah. Like, you're part of it. I'm not saying that you started it. Nobody starts that shit. That was happening way before you, but it's like, it's just like a boost, and being aware of the things that you're boosting and like how it's affecting things. It's not, I think the other really interesting thing is people thought that like you were saying like you were the king of causing racism or whatever. And that's not what you were saying at all. You were just like saying that you participated in something that you really didn't want to amplify.
Yeah, and I think part of the whole thing as well is just, man, we've really been tangenting on this, but I think it's good. Yeah, I think it's so like out of character, I think, because I was so like about this opinion, and then it felt like I wasn't. It was
Yeah.
like a quick switch in people's minds. But that was like, trust me, I was going through these thoughts. I was having these thoughts as I was making these videos. I was having these thoughts after I made these videos and I interacted with the general public. I experienced a lot that made me eventually come to the conclusion that I need to say that that's not a good delivery method
Yeah.
of the point you're trying to make or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, even after all of that, I just like hard time bringing everybody along. I just feel like you felt like, well, if I keep opening up my mouth, it's just like going to get worse. I think is like what happened.
Yeah, definitely.
So then there was even there wasn't a lot of communication before. There wasn't a lot of communication after. And I guess ultimately what this whole like conversation is like just saying like you are cooking on these things and you are figuring it out.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a journey that you've been on, you know, before the apology came out.
Yeah.
And I think you're becoming a happier person. I think sadly the last thing to change is your content. But you are, you know, experimenting and figuring things out. And I think the experiment with Max and Chad was the nail in the coffin of like, okay, things need to change, basically.
You know what's interesting is I'm realizing that like even the phrase like, "Hey guys, I'm hearing your comments and your feedback and I'm listening to it." Like even me saying that phrase, I'm like, man, such a bitch thing to say.
Yeah.
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 But I genuinely I am listening to the feedback and not all of the feedback. Some of the feedback's very cruel.
Well, let me give the commenters my own feedback.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit nicer.
Oh, yes, yes.
So, give and take.
Yeah.
You know.
I have a hard time listening when it's full of vitriol.
Yeah, some of them get really...
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was... I think it was ultimately good that I did that Cold Ones video because, you know, it seemed like generally the general consensus was like not the right energy.
Yeah.
And that is like vague enough for me to, I think, not get my feelings like super hurt and take that as like an indication that things got to change.
I just want you to be happy.
Yeah. Well, thank you. All right. Let's talk about Anisa and her wild antics on stream.
Yeah.
Yeah. You screech. You do a lot of screeching at commentary YouTubers.
You speak a lot of Japanese.
You speak, you're fluent in Japanese.
To be honest, like, they kind of deserve it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12-year-old boy energy thrown at them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're saying you're 12-year-old boy energy.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta do it to them.
The middle finger. I said this before, but the middle finger is such a funny move.
Yeah.
And I think it's very entertaining that so many people took this move seriously.
Yeah, it's funny because Dane, you were saying this the other day, like, and it's true. If you don't know me, you wouldn't have any way of knowing that I do that as like a joke. Because I love throwing the middle finger to our dogs, to you, to Dane. Like, it's just like a guaranteed punchline.
Yeah.
Especially when I have no makeup on, because it really is like 12-year-old boy energy.
Yeah.
It's like a found footage, or like one of those videos you'd see of like a Karen walking out of her house and flipping off the neighbor.
Yeah.
I was thinking of it as like early YouTube.
Yeah.
Where like people are like still trying to figure out what looks
good,
intimidating on camera.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I'll try this one out.
Yeah. The only thing that I was sad about is that I didn't throw it up as punctuation in the way that it was edited after the fact.
Right.
Because I think that would have been better. But I think it was Keemstar that edited it that way, which I'm like sad that he thought of it and I didn't.
I know.
But so for those of you who don't know, I started streaming again. And so when I was a popular streamer, and I guarantee you all popular streamers do this, you have to like tap into your lizard brain a bit And when you have a thought or a feeling, no matter how like dumb, like the second thought that happens, you have to ignore it no matter what it is. Like, is it good, is it bad, doesn't really matter. You have to go with the first like lizard brain thought, and then you gotta like amp it up. So I was like, I want to go on a rant. I just got off a run. I was sweaty as shit. My hair was like, I had no makeup on. My hair was like parted in the most like diabolical, like,
yeah, it
like,
looked, yeah, so disgusting.
And I knew, I was like, I feel like giving a little rant. And I knew that if anyone was going to like clip and share it, it would be the no offense commentary community, but the bottom of the barrel commentary community, the ones that like won't even show their face and shit, and are like playing Subway Surfers or whatever the fuck they're doing. and so I was like,
I don't know if they play Subway Surfers.
What's the one with the knife?
Oh, they surf.
They surf.
Surfing. Call of Duty, or not Call of Duty, Counter-Strike surfing, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know. But, and so I was specifically talking about them and going on like a little, like, fun little rant. Because back in the day when, you know, that you want to get clipped, you want to get shared. Negative, positive, more often negative clips are getting shared. Like every single clip that you ever see of anybody circulating on Twitter now is like, it's not good.
Yeah.
Like
it's not wholesome.
It's not like ever like, whoa, like Pokemon just did the coolest kickflip ever.
Pokemon can kickflip?
Yeah.
I would clip that.
So like I just wanted to see if I could still do it. And also like I want to like be able to give into those things because I think that's what like makes a good streamer.
Yeah.
So I did it, and I didn't really think much of it. I was like, well, we'll see if it gets clipped or whatever. And Ian came back from Will's because he was doing a collab with Will in LA. And we went to a diner, and I said, I'm just going to warn you. I was like, I'm 100% going to be getting clipped, you know, and shared in the commentary community. And Ian goes, okay. And we didn't really like talk about it much. I kind of gave him like a synopsis, but whatever. And that was it. And then the next day,
I'll take over from here.
All right.
The next day comes around, and I'm, you know, doing my thing, scrolling on TikTok as I do.
Yeah.
And I'm greeted with ANISA'S fucking mug.
Makeupless mug.
Makeupless mug. And on TikTok, and it has like the caption, iDubbbz wife or girlfriend, whatever it said, rages against the... Triggered. Yeah, right. They did use the word triggered against the commentary community.
Yeah.
And it was just like the perfect, most like punchy combination of like all the things you said. It was like the perfect synopsis. And I was like, man, I actually love that they didn't give more context to this clip or like more of a buildup, because it really made you look, in my opinion, like very confident and very fucking with it and real. I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I scurried upstairs. I had like read some of the comments, and I was like, this shit's awesome, because I wasn't watching it. I just was surprised by it, and once I saw the full thing, I was like, "That's good.
Yeah,
that's
really
good."
Because I heard, like, I was up in the kitchen cooking, and I just hear like thump 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 thump, and then Ian like comes around the corner. He's like, I just saw the video. I just saw the rant, and it was good. Yeah. He was like so excited about it, and all the comments were like, just like, what's bro yapping about?
Yeah,
like,
a lot of
let him cook.
What's bro yapping about? What was another one? This dude's crazy.
Let him cook. Let him cook.
Let him cook. Yeah, no, it was so good.
I just had a realization. Can I just interject real quick with a realization I had? Because you just talked at length about your journey of like ditching the iDubbbz character and becoming more Ian, and people kind of being taken aback by that and reacting to it and being like, this is weird, I don't like this. Anisa is having like the opposite experience, in that she's like been acting normal for so long that when she tapped into her Rainbow Kids alter ego, everybody was like taken aback by it and be like, what the what's going on? She's freaking out. They're not familiar with the lore.
That's so funny.
And I just think it's interesting that you two are having like opposite experiences, where like you're trying out either an authentic or inauthentic thing and people are reacting negatively to it.
That's so interesting of you to say, because that's true. And the thing that always kind of like I loved about the Rainbow Kids character is that 80% of people, I really believe it is about 80% of people, like they want it to be true. So they let you get away with like everything, right? Like there are so many people who message me, or like I'll tweet something and they'll be like, gonna freak out again today on stream. Are you gonna lose it again?
Yeah.
Like it's like
I hope so, because I'll be watching. Like
I'll be watching it.
exactly, they want it.
So it's like it's interesting because it's very easy to get away with.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be that good at it.
Uh-huh.
I think people just want it to be true so bad.
Yes, 100%.
And it's easier if you're already like in a community disliked. And before I would have to like really like, you know, I was doing like titty streaming when titty streaming was like the devil. And that's how you kind of got people mad enough that they would believe anything, right? Casey Tron was really good at that. Now, just because of who I am, it's, you know, people will want to.
Well, I think for me, what was so different about this time, like you raging, you raging, was that it felt like to me, people were seeing what I see, and it's not like it's just not like taken out of context or something. Because usually it's like an innocuous thing,
true,
or like a whatever thing, like they'll clip you just talking about your day and be like, oh my God, she's so awful to her husband. And I'm like, okay, like, I don't know how you could have gotten that out of this.
Right.
But seeing this one, I was like, oh, like this is the thing that should be clipped.
Yeah.
Because she's like passionately talking about a thing. She's basically asking you to clip it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the thing to clip.
Yeah. And it got clipped. Like, it, Boogie, Keemstar, Froggy Fresh, and Wings of Redemption.
The Elite Four.
The Elite Four showed up to discuss why I am literally the poster child of
if
like.
they're the Elite Four, then who's the champion? Who's Lance?
Oh, wait, the champion. Oh, there's one person after that?
Yeah. Because there's the Elite Four, and then there's the final one.
Oh, I didn't know that's how Pokemon went.
Oh, Andrew Tate.
Okay. Sure.
But yeah, no, they all collected, they got together to discuss me specifically because of that clip.
Yeah.
That's how strong that
They were breaking it down.
They were breaking it down. They were breaking down our podcast.
Oh,
they said
good.
that your thing was effeminate.
Yeah.
That you're emasculated. I didn't do that.
Hey, Keem, or whoever had a problem with our arm covers. See, we're doing a cute thing here, right? Because we're both like,
and that's effeminate.
Yes, like this is like
It's got some lace.
Harajuku. I know you don't know what Harajuku means. That's okay. You can Google it.
Some anime bullshit.
Yeah, it's basically some anime bullshit. This is just cute. Kawaii. I know it's not tough. Maybe I'll construct it.
Why did Anisa just make you do that? Anisa, why did you just signal to him to do that?
Kawaii.
I saw you signal to him to.
Babe, stop. Kawaii. Kawaii. Okay, Jesus, no more. And Anisa's is fucking badass. It's got what do you call it?
Yeah, it should be opposite.
Yeah,
you should have the cool spider webs.
True. You know what? Next episode, we'll switch it around. She'll also worship Jesus Christ. I'll worship the devil.
Nice. I think what is interesting to me is like I haven't been like an online personality really for maybe like 3 years. Like I'm on Twitter. You know, sometimes I'll say some out of pocket.
You have by proxy. Like there's an idea of you.
Yeah, like I exist.
Yeah.
But like I like put myself like out there in like a way that I thought was like interesting. And it was like that instant. It was like that instant that like there, which is, I mean, it feels good, to know that like at least I have that type of staying power. But it is interesting. I really did. It's kind of like when you go fishing and you go to a new lake and you're like, I'm just gonna like throw out like I don't know, a grasshopper that I found on the ground and just a big old trout. Like, put and it's like, oh,
thank you for the fishing analogy specifically for me.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Just like, what the hell?
Whoa.
Well, I'm gonna miss her. You ever heard that song?
No, never heard of that. I was just gonna ignore it and continue on. I saw a little smile creep on Dane's face. Yeah.
But yeah, I did. It is interesting because I wonder where we'll wind up, because I think the theme of this podcast, and I think the exploration that we're doing, is that no one wants to watch someone be themselves fully. Unless you're like absolutely fucking off your rocker.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know who's like a good example. Like Shoe Nice can be himself, and like people will watch to an extent. But if you're like a semi-healthy person, nobody fucking cares for the most part. You have to do something interesting, but you have to like decide where the line is of like, this is too much a character versus this is too much me, and finding that balance. And I think both of us are in the middle of that. You're way closer to figuring it out than I am, which is good because you're...
I don't know. I think you have it more figured out than you know.
Really?
Yeah. And I think Dane's point about like us almost having like reverse journeys makes a lot of sense, because that's been one of the major hurdles in our relationship, specifically as it relates to online activity and, you know, what we're conveying is like, I was very, you know, hide every part about your authentic self. You were like, be the most exaggerated, crazy version of your authentic self. And I think we both realized there is some what do you call that? I think I was gonna say happy medium.
Yeah, it's happy medium.
That's the term.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, I think there's a happy medium there.
I want to talk about the 90-year-old that fucking killed himself in an airplane.
Okay,
the
tell us about
90-year-old?
Yeah, he was a 90-year-old pilot. Astronaut who like took most of the photos that we have of Earth.
Oh.
He just fucking sent it into the ocean. Yesterday. Yeah, he sent it into the ocean. So he's a pilot, right?
What does sent it into the ocean mean?
Well, he was trying a trick, I think. So this is my theory about it, and I respect it if this is what happened. Guy was 90 years old, right? He was probably like getting to the point where his quality of life probably isn't like
90-year-olds shouldn't even be driving cars, let alone flying planes.
Right. So he was probably like, fuck it. I'm just gonna like try this trick that I've always wanted to try. And if I don't make it, God wanted me. You know, that's the vibe that I get off of it.
Right.
Like, and if that's what he was doing, good for him. Because so you see the clip and he's just full sending it. It looks like he's just like flying right into the water, but he was supposed to pull up last minute and come back up. But apparently figuring out how far away you are from water is very difficult. It's more difficult than land. So most trick pilots don't attempt that specific trick.
Oh, interesting.
So you watch him like really go for it, and he just doesn't pull up fast enough, and he just like smokes the water and like, you know, skims. But he was 90. He did a lot. He was a hero. He was a king. He took a lot of important scientific pictures. He hated
Trump.
moon. Well, probably he hated like moon conspiracies.
Right.
Smart guy. 90. Decided I'm living life for me. And
Nice.
He did it.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah.
Hey, what a way to go out, you know?
I know. I mean, some people, they live life hard and they go out hard. It reminds me of Blitz. And I think that's why I'm like, good for you. Because at 90, you're probably pretty close to like not being able to do anything for yourself.
That's like a more heroic version of Sky King. Did I ever tell you about Sky King before?
They were calling him Sky King in the comments.
Yeah, we have talked about it.
You can't take Sky King's
I know. Yeah,
nickname.
The airplane.
We gotta come up with something else.
I'm just doing this.
Yeah, the depressed guy who just like went on a joyride.
Oh, that makes me so emotional to listen to that audio.
Yeah, we should. I really would, because that happened at SeaTac. We should do a documentary about that and see if we can like interview. Maybe it's been long enough. Maybe we can get an interview with their family or something. They probably live around here.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be an interesting. I mean, it's a morbid
1 second.
story.
I'll be right back.
Wait, where are you going?
Okay. Just I need to check on something.
Oh.
Make sure our packages aren't getting stolen.
Oh yeah, we got our desks delivered.
We should make a documentary about Sky King, is all I'm saying, and not the new Sky King, old Sky King, original Sky King.
You know what's crazy? Both of them though are from Washington
Yeah.
State.
There's something about the air in Washington. Something's in the water that makes you want to fucking do a spin move in your plane.
Dude, yeah. There was a guy who went to or who was somehow involved in the previous gym that we were at. I think he flies helicopters.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's just something. I don't know if the weather's like better for it.
No, it
doesn't feel like
it's
would
not.
be.
Worse because it's
Yeah.
like cloudy and shit. That's
Yeah,
like you
low
wanna
visibility.
Die.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. People old men love flying planes.
Old men love flying planes. Yeah, and Belle Delphine.
Yep.
Old men and Belle Delphine love flying planes.
Belle Delphine's got an old soul.
True.
She's an old soul.
Yeah. AKA like 1,000-year-old vampire.
Oh, 12-year-old vampire.
Meme is. Yeah, 12-year-old vampire.
1,000-year-old, 12-year-old.
Yes,
I
actually,
just like
she's
the
actually a
idea.
12-year-old vampire trapped in a 23-year-old's body.
I just like the idea of saying that Belle Delphine has an old soul.
Oh.
She's an old soul.
Oh yeah, that's yeah.
I want somebody to
That should
now...
be her OnlyFans like tagline or little bio. I'm an old soul.
I
like the traditional stuff, you know.
Yeah.
I want somebody to make the reverse argument of the like she's a 1,000-year-old dragon in like a small body of she's a 12-year-old vampire in a 50-year-old.
Right. I'm trying to think of the context in which that would like make sense and be appropriate.
It's like a misguided pedophile. Like they think that it makes it okay because the body is older.
Right.
So
That's the
they're
thing
like,
that matters.
Yeah, so they're like trying to justify liking the 12-year-old.
Misguided lover boy, misguided lover pedophile.
I think the instance in which you would want to use something like that is if you are an old person, you have an old body, and you're playing games like Minecraft or Fortnite. Then you'd say, "Oh, I'm a 12-year-old.
I'm a young soul.
Vampire.
I'm a young soul." That's people who say I'm 7 years young. That's the people that are what you're describing.
I agree. Okay, so do you have any comments about dolphins?
Oh yeah.
No, let's give you a fresh animal.
Okay.
This is cool. This is like ANISA'S like animal knowledge improv.
Oh, what do you think about koalas? Because I read a tweet this morning about koalas being a certain way. What do you think about them?
I think they're metal as fuck because their babies eat their shit. Babies eat the mom's shit. Did you know that?
I don't think that's metal as fuck.
It is.
Yeah,
so the
I think
babies...
your reaction to it is more positive than I expected.
Well, do you know why they do it?
Because they're not able to like make enough milk to give their babies nutrition.
No, that's not why. Do you know why?
Well, Twitter's probably making shit up.
I don't know. They're sick fucks and they like to taste that shit and rub it on their lips and I don't know. They're sick into it. Well, no, let me actually guess.
Yeah.
They eat their mother's shit because by that point, it's because eucalyptus leaves are extremely hard to digest.
Yes.
And the only way you could digest it is by human centipede.
That's basically what I was saying.
The eucalyptus leaves are toxic. So in order to gain an immunity to it, they have to start by eating their mother's shit.
Wow.
That's like broken down, and then they can eat the eucalyptus. So they gain immunity through eating their mother's shit.
I wonder
That's metal.
You know that chicken and the egg, or what came first, chicken or the egg argument?
Oh, what came first, the koala who ate the eucalyptus or the one that ate their mother's shit?
Something like that. There's something to that.
It really rolls off the tongue.
Yeah, we're going to need to contact Vsauce1 to get to figure out how that should be phrased.
Okay.
What really is the... Okay, so that was koala. That was great. That was a cool koala fact. How about horny toads?
I don't know any specifically horny toads.
Yeah.
I don't think I know anything specific.
I think there's a horned toad.
Yeah. No, I think there is a horny toad.
Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong thing. I'm thinking of the lizard that's all horned. That shoots blood out of its eyes or something.
Oh, yeah. That's
Oh.
fucked up.
That's my fact to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know that cows have 50 stomachs?
4
or
stomachs.
No, you know what it was? Did I ever tell you that I grew up thinking that horses had a heart in each hoof?
Oh, because they're
they run.
hoof-hearted. Hoof-hearted.
They're hoof-hearted. No, I don't know. I don't know where I got it from, but for the longest time, I thought that in each hoof of a horse, they had a separate beating heart because they run so fast. They need the extra blood circulation.
Are you not doing a dad joke right now?
No. This is real.
Okay, so my dad, for April Fool's specifically, set up a joke very similar to this, with the joke of like, so there was this horse and these 2 kids raised it and they thought it was so fast and beautiful, so they wanted to name it something. So they named it Hoof-hearted. Who farted? I thought you were doing a who farted joke.
Maybe that's literally where it came from. Maybe a dad at some point did that joke to me, and I was just like, "Oh, the hooves have hearts in them." Logging that away as information as an animal fact.
Yeah,
man,
that would make sense because literally I thought you were setting up a dad joke.
and then I brought that up to somebody as like a fact, thinking, "Oh, I'm smart. I'm going to tell them this," and they were just like, "No, that's not true at all." And I was like, "No," and I looked it up. I was like, "Oh, I'm wrong."
Sorry, Dane.
And
that's sad.
not only is it wrong, that's really stupid to think that. I'm stupid.
I think. I mean, we can look up, or maybe. Yeah, I wonder what the weirdest location of a major organ like a heart would be, because I know there is some real wild adaptations out there, but I don't think a heart or a brain or any of these like central things would ever make sense to be in a limb.
Well, stuff like hearts and stuff, because you have to send the blood all over the place, the higher up, like, makes more sense because gravity.
Oh, kind of like a water tower.
Yeah.
Well,
so
that's
it would be hard to...
It's a bad example.
No, that's a good example. A water tower.
Yeah.
Because it's sending the heart pumps, and you want to be able to rely on gravity to, like, you know, push blood to everywhere, so it's not more effort. You want to, like, make it as efficient as possible.
Right, okay.
The more it pumps, the, like, it's, you know, it's putting stress on it. And then when blood comes back up into the heart, that's through your veins, and it's slowly, because you have these valves that slowly, like, push up the, and it doesn't need to get there, as, you know.
Yeah.
So.
That makes sense.
That's why the heart is located, like, usually like, high
Who farted?
Who farted?
Yeah, so anyway.
Ask me another animal. The horny toad was
okay.
That was a hard one.
How about this? Give me a fact about... I don't want to choose something that's like in a pet store or something that you would have interacted when you were working at a pet store.
Yeah.
I want it to be a little bit
more unique,
difficult,
yeah,
and proving that you have incredible animal acumen.
I don't know if I do now that you asked me the horny toad question.
Let's go with the red-breasted. Yeah, whatever that's gonna, however that finishes is not in your favor.
How about a red panda?
Oh.
What you know about red pandas?
Yeah, what do you know about red pandas?
I actually don't know very much about red.
Oh my god, even I can come up with some shit. I've seen them at the zoo.
Yeah, but like I don't have anything.
Okay, here, I'll tell the audience. They sleep in trees. It's very important for them to have a tree in their enclosure because that's where they like to sleep.
That's not an interesting fact.
And they curl up. And sometimes they fall and inadvertently kill passerby.
I think you made that up.
Okay, how about this? What about raccoons? Give us a raccoon.
They have opposable
fact.
thumbs.
You can't get those at a pet store.
They have opposable thumbs like us.
So why haven't
I've seen a lot of domesticated raccoon videos on TikTok.
Yeah, the foxes and raccoons are trying to domesticate themselves right now. Foxes more so. They're domesticating themselves like cats did. But raccoons have opposable thumbs, so they can like open things and shit.
It's interesting you worded it like that. They're domesticating themselves.
Yes.
Don't humans domesticate animals?
No. So they actually believe that cats and dogs both domesticated themselves. They have more evidence for cats than dogs. So cats figured out that there was mice around people more often because grain and other things. And so cats would come hang out in homes because there was like an endless supply of mice, and humans didn't mind it because they were getting rid of the mice. So slowly over time, cats just like, started hanging out in homes, reproducing in homes, and they actually domesticated themselves because they decided that they liked being near food sources.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, raccoons have been digging through trash.
Yep. Yeah.
That's like the first step.
Yeah. Foxes actually have been showing up to people's houses and asking to be fed in the same way that people are now talking about them domesticating themselves as well.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Let's just call it there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody fucking saw what they needed to see in the first half anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah. And keep in mind, this is the second time that we've done a podcast, so that's like why we've run out of things, because we didn't record the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about jelking last time, and Pokemon's
did we?
porn addict. No, I just made that up. I lied. I was spreading.
Oh yeah, we did talk about Pokemon's porn addicted editor.
Yeah, we talked about Pokemon's porn addicted editor, and that I hope that he gets help, because porn addiction is more common than people think, and it is a real addiction. And if you feel like you're struggling with that, you deserve help.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, we summed it up. There you go.
There you go.
And we talked about Alex Jones, and we also talked about
about
Roaring Kitty. There's a lot of things that we talked about.
Shit.
Oh well. Thank you so much for watching, lads and ladettes. Toodles. I mean, Asta.
La vista.
Bubble.
Baldur's Gate.
Audio jelking.
Hi, or never.